And welcome to another episode of the Beer and Bullshit Show. I'm the only one here. I'm going solo, and this may be the final Beer and Bullshit Show for a while. Um, what I'm drinking now is a Warsteiner, and if I am solo long enough, I'll be drinking something else that I had picked up for my birthday celebration and I never got to. Um, I have to give shout outs to my boy Nate Gorbett. He hooked me up with a really, really nice pumpkin beer. I know it's a little too early, even in my realm, for pumpkin beers, but it's a Shipyard Pumpkinhead, and it was absolutely delicious. Um, what else is going on? Um, I gotta give another shout out to Mr. Dennis Ferguson. He works at Schnucks. He's a manager there. He knows his beer. Uh, of course, he's in charge of that little area. So, shout out to you, Dennis. Um, Shout out to all my homies at Fritz. What's up, Fritz? Chick Fritz in the house. And let's see. Uh, and shout out to all the good beer drinkers out there. You know who you are. So, um, I got a nice little, somewhat birthday present. Um, I got 2 tickets to the Springfield Oyster Beer Festival. Oyster and Beer Festival. Sorry, it's at the Inn at 835 on Second Street, uh, near downtown. Oh, well, you could say downtown Springfield, and um, it's from 12 to 5 on Saturday. So if you're listening to this and you're from Springfield, get your tickets now because they're $25 at the day of the festival. So you'll save $5. Um, you get a supposedly you get a nice little mug and uh, or shot glass or some kind of glass and 5 tickets, initial tickets for the festival. So, um, other than that, oh, what's been going on? Not a heck of a lot's going on. Just waiting to see if anybody joins on the show. Um, about the show, I may be um, stopping uh, the show for a while since people can't regularly get on the show and I can't find people who want to be on the show or whatnot. It is what it is. I had a good run, not like other people that I kind of watch on their podcasts and stuff. But I thought I was going to make it to at least 50, maybe 60, but 32 maybe the magic number. 32 is magic number. Oh yes, it is. It's magic number. Anyway, um, let's see. Kind of wasting time, a little time here. Anyway, um, got the Warsteiner. Warsteiner. I still got a lot of that left. um, it's not bad beer. I mean, I've had better German beer. Um, but I mean, what would you rather drink? Miller Lite, Coors Light, Bud Light, or Warsteiner? You want to drink a Warsteiner? A Warsteiner. So, uh, what's else going on here? Everybody seems like everybody has their own Oktoberfest, their own pumpkin beer out. I see that Greg's back from vacation, so he's posting YouTube videos again. We kind of missed those YouTube videos, Greg. That's my dog right there, Greg. Greg Puckett. Yep, he's from Virginia. He does. He's got like over 1,400 beer reviews, videos. Um, go check him out. Uh, on YouTube, Greg Puckett. He likes good beer, and he's done over 1,400 reviews, which is amazing. Um, so what else is going on here? Just just chilling out, working, doing my thing. Um, um, what else? Uh, Supposedly at this festival that I got tickets to. Thank you, wifey. Um, I got there will be about 100 beers there. Um, uh, Good people probably be there. People I haven't seen for a while. People I probably saw earlier this week. um, I get to see everybody. It seems like at some point. Hopefully, new beers that'll come on the market. Um, Beers I haven't had yet, I'm sure. Um, Other than that, um, just sitting here, drinking some beer. I have tomorrow off, so eh, it is. It is. I haven't had a day off since last Wednesday, so I think this is well deserved um, time. Oh, a day off. I mean, I worked 6 days last week, and I'm working 6 days this week. So, um, what really irks me? What irks me is you put new beer up on the shelf. Okay, this is what irks me. And the shelf was previously empty. Okay, and you stick, whatever beer you put up there. Um, and someone goes through the beer to look for something cold. Okay, and they're like, "There's no cold beer here." Yeah, idiot. I just put it up there, dumbass. Come on, really? I mean, you know, find something else that might be cold, or take it home and throw it in the freezer for, you know, 10, 15 minutes. It'll get cold quick. I mean, if you really wanted a cold beer, I mean, there are other ways of getting your cold beer, than just, getting it off the shelf. I mean, Americans are fucking spoiled, man. They want their beer and they want it cold all the time, and it's just like you're not always gonna get your beer cold, especially when you're buying it from the stores or whatnot. Because shit runs out. It's called scarcity, motherfuckers. You know. And anyway, uh, enough about that, I guess. Um, uh, I'm a merchandiser from Fritz, distributing here in Springfield. Uh, we have quite a good portfolio of stuff that we actually carry. Um, we carry your Miller products, your Coors products. Um, we get Sam Adams. Um, the Oktoberfest really isn't flying off the shelves like I thought it would be. Maybe because, they introduced the Oktoberfest a little too soon than they should have. Um, but I kind of understand where they're coming from, whatnot. But um, and um, I don't know. It's just one of those things that I thought might be flying off the shelf, but it really isn't flying off the shelf yet. Maybe as it starts getting a little cooler, maybe some of that Oktoberfest will, you know, I'm already looking forward to the winter beers. I know that's just sick. It's the first week of September, and I'm already looking forward to the winter beers, especially one especially beer that I like to get my hands on, and that's the Celebration Ale by Sierra Nevada. That is such a tasty beer. Tasty, tasty beer. Anyway, um, Jim Bab, where are you, Jim Bab? Jim Bab? We're calling Jim Bab. Calling Jim Bab. Maybe he's ignoring me. Who knows? Almost time for another beer. Um, I hate to see this show end like this. I mean, you know. Oh, the beers that Jim Bab sent. Actually, I was gonna have the last one on the show tonight if he would show up. I was gonna pop it pop it open next, and have that beer tonight. But you know, no one wants to be on the Beer and Bullshit show. Why doesn't anybody want to be on the Beer and Bullshit show? It's better than any other show out there. Okay? You know, it's the best show that's not on LRN.fn. Seriously. I mean, no disrespect to, Corey or anything. He's got a little gig going on. I bet he doesn't have problems finding somebody to go on his show. The day before my birthday, I drank the Heady Topper. Look at that can. Look at that can. The Heady Topper. Yeah. The Heady Topper. Yep. That is an amazing beer right there. And then on my birthday, besides those delicious beers that Nate Corbett, oh, by the way, he's a chef at Obed's. Oh, check him out. He has really, really good food. And anyway, the growler that Jim Babb sent me from Hillstead Farms, or Hill Farmstead, sorry. Hill Farmstead. And it was a really good Imperial Pale Ale, an IPA, or double IPA, I should say. That was delicious. And tonight, I wanted to drink. Where is that thing? I wanted to, on the show, I wanted to drink this one. It is a Mean Old Tom, a stout aged on natural vanilla beans. That's the one right there. I think Jim featured it a while back. So, wanted to drink that tonight on the show, but no one's on. So, anyway, the wife just entered. Say hi, wifey.
Hi, where the heck is everybody?
Well, they're not here.
Where's Jim?
I don't know where Jim is. He said he'll be a little late. Well, it's 20 minutes past. I've been on air for the last 15, so.
By yourself.
By myself. Said I was going to do the show by myself no matter what. This may be the last time you'll see my face on Google Hangout for a while. What to talk about? What to talk about? Let's talk about drinking beer. That's what the show's all about, right? Drinking beer, talk about bullshit, you know. Anyway. So, had a very interesting discussion with someone today about the whole thing on performance-enhancing drugs for sports athletes. He came out and said, they want to do steroids? Let them do steroids. They want to do all these other performance-enhancing drugs? Let them do it. You know, you just don't pay them as well. Oh, if you're gonna do steroids, guess what? You don't get paid as much as the other guy that isn't using steroids or other performance-enhancing drugs. Yeah. It's something that we don't want to, teach our kids that, oh, yeah, you do these drugs and, yeah, you're going to cheat and get ahead of the game. But really, how is marijuana a performance-enhancing drug? That should be taken off the list. Marijuana does not performance enhance nothing. Okay? Maybe it might perform enhance your eating habits, but really, I've never met anybody who did the 100-yard dash in less than 10 seconds, okay, after smoking a bowl. Just saying. And if they did, it wasn't in a straight line, that's for sure. Anyway. This Schwarzenegger's good. Pick it up. It's not bad. I don't know what these people are thinking about. I like Warsteiner. All right, people. I might have to make this show short and then delete it because there's no point. This is the last show. You know, for a while at least. But I'll keep the archives up for a while. I mean, there's 31 other episodes that are pretty good, and you know, try to put out a decent product, and you know, enjoy. You know, watching the archives. I'm not gonna push the show much anymore. You know, I got 800 views on 31 episodes. Actually, 32 if you take the special episode I did with Scott White on the Nasty Beers. I may do, you know, little segments on my own, like the Nasty Beer of the Week, or you know, or Beer of the Week, or something like that. You know, just to keep you guys informed of the show. But other than that, I don't think we're going to be doing much as the show as it is. No one wants to ever come on. Maybe I'm not popular enough or whatnot. It's all good. Wow, I've got 2 viewers. Wonder who those 2 viewers are. Should they be on the show? Are we Facebook friends? Oh, now we're only down to 1. But that 1 viewer, if you are actually a Facebook friend, let me know. And if you have a mic and a camera, I'll get you on. You could say that you are on the last Beer and Bullshit show. It keeps fluctuating from 1 to 2. So there's a jokester out there. Ha 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 ha. It's not fun doing a show by yourself. Yeah, we're back up to 2. Anyway, I'm about the Warsteiner. Jibib! Jibab! Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Mr. Jibab.
Is it just me and you?
Yeah, it's just me and you, your mama and your cousin too, and the fam.
Hi,
Nice.
Jibab.
Get to be on the last
Hey.
That's right. You can check out all the other episodes.
Where's our panel of bullshit experts?
They bullshitted out tonight.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's been. I don't know what direction to take, Jim. I'm thinking that this will probably be the last episode for a while.
Aw. Well, maybe we should, maybe there's, maybe it needs to be like monthly or every other week or something like that, or I don't know.
If people want to do maybe, twice a month or something, I could go for that as well. But, I know like during like when the holidays come around, I'll probably only do like maybe one show, and then after the first year, maybe start doing them regularly again.
Just seems like it would be, how hard is it for people to schedule, stay at home and drink beer, as an activity? I mean, like, you really got to squeeze that in, right? I mean, is it that tough?
Oh, Jim Bab, we drank that Hill Farmstead.
Nice. How was it?
It was awesome. My
Nice.
my beer sensei gave it a thumbs up. So he's like it says open by the 27th. Today's the 30th. I was like, it's still good. Shush.
Yeah, well, it was a few days not refrigerated, in transit. That's the only thing I was worried about. But, getting tossed around by postal employees. But, what are you going to do?
It was still good. I mean, I'm not going to complain about it, I still got one beer left, Jim Bab.
Which one? Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know if you like that style or not, but it's pretty good for a is it a stout, like a vanilla?
Yeah, vanilla beans
stout. It's pretty solid in that genre, but yeah, I brought back a few of those, but I got a fridge full of Heady Topper. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, so
I know what you could do with it. Drink it. Drink it.
I think I'm going to start offering to trade it for stuff, because I'll get tired of it if I drink. I can't drink it every day.
That's true. I mean, there's plenty of people on the beer traders group that would give their left nut for that Heady Topper.
That's why I'm thinking. There's and there's so many incredible beers out in the country that I can't get. That people have access to that aren't me. So we should be able to work something out. Plus, cans are really easy to ship.
That's
it's like
true.
you don't need all the packing materials and whatnot. But or I'll just hoard it. Bring it out on special occasions, or I don't know.
Nah, you should get rid of at least a 6-pack.
Yeah, I'll trade it for some stuff.
Or trade.
Al Do from Facebook. I don't know. I think he's on the Beer Trader group, or I don't know if he just sees my when I post there because I'm Facebook friends with him. Al.
Nuh-uh.
And he's a local Philly area guy. Didn't really get to know him, but he came over when I got back from. I invited a few of the people I knew that loved excellent beer to come over and help me drink some of those growlers from Hill Farmstead, and he had me pick him up some extra stuff at Hill Farmstead while I was there, and I knew he has excellent taste in beer. I thought, certainly won't hurt me to be able to do him a solid, and he hooked me up with some really interesting beers. In fact, I've got a Prairie Bomb in the fridge. Have you ever had Prairie Bomb?
No.
It's like I think it's like a coffee. I think it's like chocolate, coffee, and chili stout. It's like spicy. It's like
It sounds like spicy sweet.
yeah. which I think could be very interesting. And it's I've seen it around on it's a coveted beer, so that's good to have. And I had one that was salt and coriander beer. Like,
Okay.
really? I looked at that. I was like, that's not anything I would ever order. Like, oh, it's got salt and coriander, and it's less than 5% alcohol. Like, but surprisingly good. Surprisingly good. So you never know.
Yeah. Hope. Maybe when we reconvene in maybe a couple weeks, I need to talk about the festival I'm going to on Saturday.
Is that the Oktoberfest?
Actually, it's called the Springfield Oyster and Beer Festival.
Sweet. I don't know though. In Illinois, are those like oysters from the ocean or more like Rocky Mountain oysters?
Hopefully from the ocean, of course.
I don't know. You're pretty far inland, so as long as they're not Rocky Mountain oysters.
I probably won't eat any anyway. I'm just there for the beer. So, there's supposed to be over 100 beers represented, and last year my buddy said he had a really good time. So,
can you take a cab?
It's over 5 hours, so I'll just take it slowly. I'm not going to try all 100.
Why don't you stay overnight and try all 100?
Because I've got to go to work early in the morning.
Oh! That seems like that should be like a work-related, field trip.
Yeah. Yeah. Not when my distributor actually is going to be there too. So. I did have one really good beer my buddy brought over for my birthday celebration. It's from Shipyard. It's called Pumpkinhead.
From Shipyard?
Yep.
Normally I think I avoid Shipyard, but I don't know exactly why, but I don't remember seeing that.
It was really good. I mean,
nice.
It's probably one of the 5 best pumpkin beers I've had, and I'm not really into like the pumpkin beers, but I'll try a few every year just for the heck of it.
My wife's into those, and sometimes they're pretty good, I guess, but sometimes it's like, damn, somebody put pie in my drink, like just too much, too sweet, too sticky, like.
I don't know if you're into the ciders.
I've had some that I like. I don't go after them, but I wouldn't turn it down if somebody's like, here, drink some cider. Like, sure.
Yes. If your wife likes cider, pick her up some of this. It's the Woodchuck Fall Harvest.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Fall beer, and it tastes like apple pie, dude.
See, but that's a cider, so I can understand that.
It tastes like even says so. It tastes like apple pie, and it really does taste like it really tastes like apple pie that your grandma would have made.
Oh, your drunken alcoholic grandma would have made.
Well, okay. But drunk granny would probably be cool though. She'd be
hell yeah!
Well, here you go. Here's a little ship, Shuddy.
Well, wouldn't that be great to have a grandma that always had a little flask in her purse, and
You want a ship, Shuddy?
It's funny.
Well, heck yeah, Granny, give me some of that shit.
What's funny is I don't think my one grandmother on my father's side, I don't think she ever really drank like her whole adult life, but then she ended up in this retirement community, and they started like when she was around 90, I guess. But they started having like little parties with her friends, and she would bring, what did she would like, well, I have to bring vermouth or something, or no, or not, or maybe schnapps, or like just some like weird like cordial liquors and stuff like that.
Right.
She was starting to get into at like age 90.
I can't tell you whenever I go into the services store or whatnot, how many older people go in to the liquor section and they're like, oh, like earlier, and I know it's discussing beer, but an old lady, probably in her early 70s, comes up to me and she says, do you got any more of that 30-pack Keystone Light?
Maybe she's making onion rings or something, You ever think?
Yeah,
Like,
onion rings. Yeah, 30-pack. Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a lot of freaking beer for
For beer
onion
batter.
rings to have. And I said, yeah, I'll go back and see what I've got. So, I had some. So, it's kind of interesting, my job, because sometimes you get to play sales guy too. And it's just
Okay.
it's like they're like, well, what you look at them and you're like, what you looking for? And they're like, well, I'm looking for this, that, and the other, and then you kind of point out stuff for them, what they cater their drinking styles to or whatnot. And I mean, we carry a lot of stuff that is like intro to craft beer type stuff. Like New Belgium, we carry like the Sierra Nevadas, the Sam Adams, the Leinenkugels, stuff like that, to where, if they're like, well, I've never really, or even Blue Moon, well, I've never really had, this particular, or my husband likes this particular thing, or we tried this the other day, and and I was just like, well, you could start off with this, or you could start off with this. I don't, go top shelf on them, like, oh, yeah, you need to get this beer, which is a 12%er.
Maybe you should. I don't know. Who knows?
No, because if they haven't had anything like previously, I think I had a friend from Walmart, and she's the one that got that Mad Elf ale or whatever.
Right?
Remember me drinking that? And that was like the first craft beer that they had ever had. So, and they're just like, we don't want to do craft beer anymore and stuff. And I was like, had they been introduced the right way, like with the Fat Tire or a New Belgium Pale Ale, or a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, or even a Sam Adams Boston Lager, and then moved their way up, they probably would have enjoyed that a little bit more than,
Right.
there's a progression into craft beer. You can't just hit them with the 12%er and say, here, knock yourself out.
Yeah. I guess it was Sierra Nevada was my one that was like the first one that was readily available. I remember, in bars.
And with me, it was Fat Tire, because it was readily available in Colorado. So.
Okay. But I just remember like that being like the first beer like actually I ever drank that tasted good. I just had assumed up until that point that just beer was kind of nasty, but you had to you drank it anyway. I was like,
right.
It's kind of a new idea that it could taste good too. But now I can't even touch that one. I tried it like a year ago. I was like, yuck. Just, but anyway,
Yeah. I mean, if I were like really on like nickels and dimes or whatever, then I would probably go back to drinking, a Fat Tire or something, or I'd sell my kid's left kidney or something.
okay. Yeah, well, there's always that, especially if they're young and healthy. Um, you know what? Torpedo is probably the most cost-effective beer that I buy. I think I can get it for like a buck a bottle.
Right.
It's pretty awesome compared to other beers, which are like 2 or 3 times that amount.
And with me working at the distributor, I get to see what comes in firsthand, into the market.
Do you get a discount? Do you get employee discount?
There ain't no employee freaking discounts. I gotta go get the shit from the store, like just about like everybody else does.
Aw. Yeah, work your way into it.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody in that place gets their beer just from there. I think everybody usually just goes to the store and gets it.
Didn't you say something about like getting free beer? They're like, oh, it's Friday, get your free beer. Like,
oh no, that was twice a year. The employees get a bonus, and it's 6 cases of beer.
6 cases as a bonus.
Yep.
That's not bad.
And it's beers that they choose. It's not beers that you get to choose.
Ah.
I know. I had to get rid of half my beers because I would never drink it. I mean next time I get, the free 6 cases, I'm going to have to exchange it. I'll be like, here's a case of Corona Light, okay, which I will not drink, okay, but you got to give me something in return.
You could donate it to homeless people. I think that could be like a real. Or is that cruel to give them crappy beer? I mean,
that is cruel and unusual. That's cruel and unusual punishment, James, and that's against their 6th Amendment right. Come on.
Yeah, just because they're homeless doesn't mean they should have that Corona Light thrust upon them.
That's right. That's right, Tim.
But what if you were let's just say you're like a really like strung out alcoholic, living on the streets. Maybe that Corona Light is really what you need, I mean, I don't know.
Well, no, because I want to. If I do something like that, I want to exchange it with somebody and say, hey, I'll give you this Corona Light if you give me something that I want.
Like a.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like a a manicure or a I don't know.
If I give you a case of Corona Light and you give me a case of Rampant from New Belgium, that is a tasty double IPA.
But who would make that trade?
Yeah, there'd be quite a few people who'd be like, oh, okay.
Maybe you could put some incentives into it. Like, did you get any of the cases that you did want to have?
Yeah, my wife got she got the Cayman Jack, and she got the Red's Apple Ale, and I got the Warsteiner.
I used to drink that. That's not too bad. It's like
It's not bad.
It's like a German. I mean, it's like a traditional German Pilsner.
Yeah.
Good for like picnics and stuff, But next time, maybe you could offer like a 2-for-1. Like, I'll give you the case of, 2 crappy cases for 1 good case.
Yeah.
To your other coworkers that are getting the beer, Or say, look, boss, I appreciate the bonus. Can I just get cash equivalent?
Nah, I would do that. Cash equivalent. No. Nah, I wouldn't do that. I'd be like, instead of this Corona Light, can I get? I know we got some Rampant over there. Can I get at least a 6-pack or something?
Hey, it'd been funny if they'd done the same thing at Walmart, and they're like, well, here's, you get 6 of these DVDs from the discount bin. You get you get some lawn supplies. Here's a bag of lawn seed and and some camping propane. Here you go. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. No, Walmart's too cheap for that. They'll be like, well, you guys do get bonuses 4 times a year, so I don't see why we got to give you anything more than that.
Just to keep you around. How about that?
From what I understand, their bonus that they're getting this month, which I think I'm getting like half of it because I was there for half the quarter. Okay. They're only getting like $68.
Is it like a profit sharing bonus or something like
No,
that?
it's all based. It's based on 5 factors. Customer service, I think, is one. Profit. Sales. And 2 other factors, but
It's like an
they're only
incentive
getting
bonus.
they're only getting $68. That's the lowest bonus that they've gotten ever since that store opened up.
Well, it sounds like the store's going to shit without you there, I guess.
Yeah, well, they've tried replacing me with 2 other people. One of which he got busted stealing, and the other one thought she was going to be the department manager, knowing well she wasn't going to be. Okay, and then she wound up quitting there and going to another store. So,
Oh well, good riddance.
and now they're working on getting an old employee who came back, and he's over in I think electronics now, and he wants to come to the meat department. So, I told him, look, you're not going to be able to replace me, and I put a curse on you guys. So you got the curse. This guy won't work out either. Something's going to happen.
Just don't get too close.
So.
Oh well. So what's up with where the heck's Ruby? What's her excuse?
Supposedly Nick had to work at home, so he couldn't drink at home.
So what's Ruby's excuse?
That she had to work too, or something like that. I don't know.
Walking dogs?
Hey.
We'll have to see what's up. Maybe we can. I'd like to keep it going, but maybe it was just getting too much once a week. So.
I could do twice a month. I mean, if people remember what days that we set for those,
Well, maybe we could set a calendar. Set up a calendar. Let people agree to it in advance so they know what's going on. Book interesting guests. And get them booked in advance, so we know, we know who's on, and then maybe something where we confirm, we confirm on Monday, just make sure everybody reaffirm that they're going to be there the Monday before or the Friday before. So if they end up not being able to make it, there's time to find a replacement or change a schedule or something. but
Right.
last minute cancellations are kind of beat. You know, that's
Yeah, and that's where I run into the problems because people are just like, it's like 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 4 and 2 hours before the show starts. Oh, we can't make it. Why? How long ago did you know this? Did you know this 2 days ago and now you're just telling me? Or did you know like an hour ago?
but either way, it's just it'd be nice to know, but I mean, I can't really blame people for not, prioritizing, and being like, I'm committed to drinking beer on Wednesday night, and like not letting anything more, more important get in the way.
Right. And that's why I did the show because, I thought it would be a good, one, educational tool, and two, just a way for us to just sit around and just bullshit and just talk about, just whatever. There's no real big theme. It's not like other shows that we know, like Free Talk Live, Corey Moore Show.
Which your other shows about people just sitting around drinking,
The Angel Clark Show, the or it's just a very. And then I tell people, look, we are very decentralized. Okay, we talk about whatever we want to talk about, and we drink good beer. How you can't. There's no other show like that. So
yeah. Anyway, well, why don't maybe we can start like a thread on the Facebook page. Ask for input and ways we can, sort of shore it up and make it more entertaining, less of a burden on schedules or whatever we have to do. Try to get some input. Maybe we need to shorten the format down to like an hour. Which if we can really consolidate, and like have everybody ready with what they want to say, what they're going to talk about. Boom, bang it in, squeeze it into an hour. That might be easier for people to allot that amount of time. But honestly, the hardest part for me is like sometimes it's too many nights of drinking in a row. Where like I would normally like I was like I closed out a bar last night. So I was drinking basically from like 7:30 to 2. Honestly, the last thing I was thinking about was like, oh, what am I going to drink tonight? I'm like, oh. Guess I'm not really dedicated,
No, I mean you're dedicated enough to join me on, tonight. I mean, shit.
I was going to force down a heady. Yeah, I was going to force down a heady topper, to get in the spirit of things, but choke it down,
But I do like that Mean Old Tom that you sent. I really do like it. It's good.
You might even be able to get it in Illinois. I don't know. They have a fairly. I'm not really sure where they distribute. Like they said, there's actually a place in Philly that sometimes gets it, which I'm going to look into.
Okay.
And they've got some other beers which are pretty good too. I couldn't get this one called Another One, which I was drinking over the summer, but then when I wanted to like load up to go home, they didn't have it anymore.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, so a lot of their good ones just come and go. Like they have it, then they don't have it.
My buddy and I, we have a plan, or I wouldn't say a plan, a business idea that we want to try to plan out, and that's he's went to Australia earlier this year, back in May, early June, because his girlfriend's from Australia, and down there they drink like 4 different beers. That's it.
A lot of places in the world are that way.
Just 4 different beers. That's it.
It's worse in other places. Costa Rica had 2 beers, and they tasted identical.
Ew.
They were both like a German Pilsner style, just
Okay.
2 different brands. That was it, basically. Maybe every once in a while, like in a certain town, there might have been like a small brew pub if you happen to stumble into it that catered to Americans, but never really saw any of it. So I ended up having to drink liquor, when I go there. Like, all right, just
And we're just like, there's a market down here. I mean,
is there?
There is a market for craft beer down there. There's
What's
a lot
the,
of there's a lot
What's
of
the
American.
legal climate? I mean, what's the what's the legality? Maybe that's why there's only 4 is because of some like nasty draconian alcohol laws.
That's what we're researching right now, because they can get Corona down there. They can get Budweiser. All right. They do get
That might be because those companies are big enough to have full-time lawyers and distribution, efforts, and
right.
can navigate all the bullshit, and come in with like a huge marketing campaign and big money but
And that's what we were thinking too. I mean, just to get like the top 5 craft brewers on board, just to extend. But the problem is that because of their seasons, they're different than ours. See, right now they're heading from winter to spring, and we're going from summer to fall. Okay, so if Sam Adams couldn't send a summer ale in the middle of winter down there.
Why not? Seriously, you know what? I'm never really, the seasonal beers I think are interesting, but seriously, if it was like April and somebody said, here's a new pumpkin beer that just came out, would you be like, oh no, it's not October, I'm not drinking that? Like, does it really matter what season it is? I mean, I've never really fell for that kind of stuff,
What I'm thinking is that Sam Adams has enough of their regular beer, irregardless to the seasons or whatnot, that they could send it down there. The Boston Lager is brewed all year round. Okay.
Well, I mean, Sam Adams is so huge. I'm surprised it's not already there.
No, it's not. They're not there. I've already done research. There is no American craft brewery there currently.
Maybe what you need is, well, like, first of all, like, I guess you'd have to analyze: is there a demand, right? Are there people that are going, God, I wish I could buy good beer and ready to drop extra money, right? Remember, it's not going to be cheap.
No, it's not going to be cheap.
To send a beer to the other side of the world, okay? And there's breakage, there's loss, it's not going to be refrigerated. It's going to be not necessarily the easiest place to get beer to. But let's just say you can. Is there a market? Is it, what are the legalities, the import bullshit, the what if it gets stuck in in customs, or I don't know, the shit might get stuck for 6 months. Will it still be good when it arrives? I don't know. Dealing with all of those kind of challenges, but if there's a market, it could be worth it. I don't know how to figure out if there's a market, but maybe smuggle in, maybe like host an international beer festival. Like, get the brewers down there, get people into tasting the stuff, and then find out if they're into it.
Yeah,
you could even do tasting events where you bring in, let's just say you brought in 2 cases of, say, 20 beers, 2 cases each, right? You ship it, you put it in a cargo container, you ship it over there. You know, you fly down, you meet it, you get it out, you get, you know, and you find a partner that's like, let's have this American beer festival, you know, and boom, you know, and do tastings and, you know, or maybe you get like sixtels of the beer, you know, might even be better than cases. Just see if you can get away with it. See who tries to stop you. Right? Just do it, and then somebody will be like, "No, you can't do that." Okay, well then you'd cross that bridge, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of countries that aren't getting, you know, good beer. But I just figured it was because there's not really a demand.
Well, he says there is a demand, especially there's a lot of Americans that live in Australia, and they're like, man, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of Corona or Budweiser or, you know, or this cheap Australian beer, and, you know, and they think, and down there they know that Foster's is a joke, okay? Because Foster's isn't brewed in Australia; it's brewed here in the United States. That whole Foster's Australian for beer. It was a marketing scheme.
Yeah, it's like
Okay?
Crocodile Dundee or some shit.
Right.
Hey,
It was a marketing scheme. That's all it was.
yeah. Hey, do you think there's any India Pale Ale that's brewed in India that's good? Be a lot closer to get it from India than it would be, you know, anywhere else.
What I'm thinking is if they you know, experience some of the American craft beer, then there might be some interest in microbreweries popping up in Australia.
What about New Zealand? Something makes me think like New Zealand has a beer scene. Is that possible?
It's possible. I mean,
Let me try some Google things. Seems to me that would be the place where craft brew would be really taking off. New Zealand craft. Okay. New Zealand craft beer. I'm Googling it. beertourist.co.nz. Welcome to Beer Tourist, your map of craft breweries and serious craft brew pubs and bars throughout New Zealand. Nelson Craft Brewing, capital of New Zealand. It says beer has been central to the local culture of the Nelson Tasman region, dating back to the first New Zealand settlements. You know what? Maybe it's not a matter of bringing it from the U.S. It's just like taking it by shuttle from New Zealand. You know, if you needed somebody that was willing to go to New Zealand, you know, spend a summer there, researching good beers, and, you know, ordering them, trying them again to make sure they're, you know, they're good, and you know, shipping them to Australia. I could do that, you know.
right. I mean, we're just him and I were both merchandisers, and we're just like thinking of all these ways to just maybe come up, you know, with a plan or an idea or something, because we're kind of stuck. We're kind of sick of what we're doing, you know.
Yeah. Be an international beer smuggler. You should check out this beertourist.co.nz.
Okay.
And looks like dozens. At least looks like about 2 or 3 dozen on this brewery tour.
Well, you know, if the shit hits the fan, you know, there's only really 2 good places to go. If the shit really hits the fan here in the United States, one of them's Costa Rica and the other one's New Zealand.
New Zealand's really far away.
I know, but I know, but they don't have extradition treaties with the United States.
New Zealand doesn't?
Nope.
Are you sure about that?
Last that I checked.
Really? Wow, because I was doing some research in that department, and the best I came up with was like Croatia.
Uh,
Which I'm going to check that. Man, if they have no extradition treaty, whoa.
but it's been a while since I've checked, so I may be off. But
New Zealand. Okay, I'm googling New Zealand extradition treaty U.S. to see what comes up. List of United States extradition treaties. God bless Wikipedia. I mean, it's almost every country. And New Zealand is on the list.
are they on the list now? Shit.
Since 1970.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Date signed was 1970.
Hmm.
What I need is the list that aren't, the countries that aren't on this list.
Somalia.
Let's see let me check Somalia.
The statists are always telling us, well, if you're not happy with this country, you can move to Somalia. Why would I want to move to Somalia?
Because you hate roads. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Oh, here's an interactive map. Okay. It looks like. Wow. Wait a minute. Yeah, there's more of the world than I thought does not have an extradition treaty, including a lot of Africa. Okay, it's not Egypt, it's not South Africa, but it's a lot of the other African countries. Most of Asia,
Really?
Yeah. I mean, not India, not not Pakistan.
What about Bangladesh?
I'm not exactly sure where Bangladesh is.
It's on the western side of or the eastern side of India.
I see two small countries. Well, Nepal I recognize, right to the north between China.
Right.
And
Bangladesh is between India and Burma.
Yeah, I think that is no extradition treaty there. But China, nope. Russia, nope. A lot of those Central Asian places like Tuva and Mongolia and Saudi Arabia? Is that possible? That Saudi Arabia doesn't have an extradition treaty?
Well, Jim Bab, I'm opening up a new beer. This is actually I normally don't buy anything from InBev, from the InBev group, okay? But this happens to be a Belgian style triple. It's from Goose Island. It's called the Ogden.
All right.
And it was like $3.99 for a 4-pack, so I had to pick it up.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That was $1 a beer?
Yes.
For a triple?
For a triple, yes.
How is it?
I'm about to open it up. It's the first time I've had it, so.
There's a couple, the Goose Island Belgian beers I've had are pretty good. I think it's probably one of the areas that they, have really worked to develop.
So.
Where's your glass? Come on, man. Come on.
I deglassed it tonight.
Okay. Roughing it.
But yeah, I'm roughing it. Yeah, okay. But that's not bad.
What's the alcohol content?
9%.
I don't know if I'd call that a triple, but well, good for Goose Island for having something decent. Isn't that in Illinois?
Yes.
Is there an actual Goose Island? Is that an actual island somewhere?
I don't know, but I know it. I know this one. It's brewed and bottled by Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago, Illinois. So this one actually, they actually brewed it and bottled it at the brew pub in Chicago, Illinois, or at one of the brew pubs in Chicago, Illinois. A lot of the beers are brewed down in St. Louis since they
Ooh.
got taken over by InBev.
Oh man.
Yeah, but their specialty beers are actually brewed up at their brewery up in Chicago.
The Ogden, that's what it's called?
Yes, the Ogden.
Yeah, I'm checking it out on Beer Advocate. Gives it a 87. It's not too bad.
Not too bad. It says, we dry hopped our Belgian-style triple to balance spicy, tropical American hop flavors with a unique Belgian yeast, giving it a bold, more complex palate.
Nice.
I mean, it's good. I mean, something like that usually runs around $13-14 as a 4-pack. But I went to Friar Tuck and they had it on sale for $4 a 4-pack. So I grabbed up one.
Unbelievable. I don't see, I hardly see anything at that price range.
Well, I know that a lot of the distributors, if they're just holding on to something and it's not selling, or they're not get rid of it fast enough in the distribution center, they'll send it to Friar Tuck, which is a huge liquor store. They'll send it to Friar Tuck just to get rid of it. And 9 times out of 10, Friar Tuck takes it because they know they can get rid of it like that.
Well, now you know what to do with your Corona Light.
No. There's enough suckers out there that'll take the Corona Light off my hand.
Thanks.
I wouldn't in exchange for something else. So,
man, I drank a good one last night. I'd never seen this one before. It was a Great Lakes black something. Let me see if I can figure out what it was.
Here locally, since I'm good friends with all the other distributors and their sales guys, I'm good friends with the sales guys from other distributors, and they're always telling me, hey, we got an event coming up, blah, blah, blah. What are you doing Thursday or Friday night, blah, blah, blah. One guy said that they're doing a tap takeover, and they're doing some kind of a grapefruit IPA or something.
Interesting.
And I'm like, that sounds interesting. I may be there.
You know what? I wonder if this is what I just had last night. I'm checking the Great Lakes website, and it
Hmm.
was a Great Lakes Cigar City collaboration on something called Wandering Pelican. Is it possible? Black Lager, 8.5%. Release date. Let's see.
See, that's one of the things you got, James, that I don't have access to. Is, I mean, you live in a metropolitan area, okay, where you can just go to, you know, bar X or bar Y, and go to a lot of these places where they have good beer, readily available. Whereas me, I don't have that kind of choice.
Well, maybe there's your business opportunity. Forget about Australia. Try to maybe you could hook up the local bars there. You
Well,
know,
the problem is that I if I were to do something like that, I wouldn't do it in Illinois. Illinois is too fickle and funny,
well, what if you
and
had
plus,
a But maybe what if you got connections with the distributor, and there's other distributors. But what if you went in? What if you had like a consulting company? Okay, you go to bar XYZ. Okay, you look at their beer menu. You say, okay, all right, there's really not much going on here in the beer department. Okay, now remember, anybody in the industry is seeing these headlines: the growth of craft beer, how it's cutting into bad beer, right?
right.
Doubling. I mean, the growth rate's incredible. Okay, so people are aware of these trends, and if they're not aware of the trends, you show them the trends. Okay, and you say, well, what do why don't we set your bar up with what we do is we come in and we provide a custom craft beer menu. We analyze your beer based on your quantities that you deliver, maybe what kind of cuisine you serve, your clientele, and we come up with a custom recommendation of six or eight beers that are going to tailor to this growing market. Do you want to be part of this growing trend? Oh, yes, we do, but I just didn't know how to do it. Okay, and then you set them up, and you get like a cut at both ends. Maybe you install new taps. Maybe you get a cut of all the beer sold there, or you deliver it, or I don't know where. Maybe the breweries themselves would pay you to do that for them. I don't know. Doesn't it seem like people could use that?
Well,
Little,
people could use that. Uh, like I said, there's a couple of places that you can go to, and they're pretty much on top of um, uh, the the market or whatever, but there isn't enough. Does that make sense?
yeah, but that's to me that sounds like like an opportunity there. Anyway, you know, and a service to the community.
Oh, of course.
Hey, there's a message from Garrett. I think is that Garrett? No. Who is it? Scott. You see that message from Scott?
No.
He says, "Mind if I stop in for a minute?"
Yes. The invite's out, so he can join in whenever he wants.
Well, I told him to do it. We'll see if he shows up or not. Anyway,
There he is.
Yo, Scott.
What's going on, Jeff? What is going on?
Nothing.
Okay, give us a skinny. What happened at this tap takeover or whatever?
It was done for Stone's Ruination Domination. It's going around the country. I don't know if they're starting out east and working their way west, or if they're just trying to meet in the middle or whatnot. But it was pretty much every single one of Stone's like IPAs that you could actually get your hands on. I picked up a couple of glasses. Stone's Ruination Domination glass. Stone's Go-To IPA glass. They had what else did they have going on there? They had the Double Bastard. Some of their more collaboration offerings. They had probably 12 different taps that were at the one place that I go to all the time. It was pretty packed. I mean, being Stone Brewing Company, everybody knows, hey, Stone's what I consider to be the go-to IPA place. If you want a really good, decent IPA, you would, pretty much head to Stone Brewing Company or your, favorite go-to IPA. But it was the Ruination that I had this evening was called a Ruination Double Dry Hopped. I believe it was with Amaretto and Simcoe, and it was also on oak chips. And I can sit there and honestly say I prefer the original Ruination over that.
Interesting. Sometimes they can't actually improve upon it.
Right. That's the way I felt because of the fact that it was the way that the beer went is that when you smelled it, it was I don't want to say it was off, but you could tell that it was different. It wasn't the original smelling Ruination. It was more you can smell the oak chips, like the vanillic flavor from the oak chips. It was very smooth. It was very light. It was easy drinking, especially at almost 10%. But after the initial swallow, I mean, you got like a hot punch right in the back end of your throat. That it was just like, it's good. It really was.
I might like
but
that.
I prefer the original Ruination better.
I think I'd like to try that and decide for myself.
Right.
Sounds pretty cool though. Did you get any scoop on their new like East Coast brewery decisions, or is that moving forward? Or
That's still up in the air right now. They're down to, I believe it was 3 states. I don't want to.
I think
How do I wanna
Virginia
say
was.
this?
I think Virginia was one of them.
I don't want to sit there and jinx it, but Columbus looks very promising. Let's just say that.
that's not East Coast.
Yeah, but James, you don't understand what we've been suffering in the Midwest. That is a big thing. If something like Stone would to come to even Columbus, Ohio, I mean, the home of the largest university in the country.
Okay, I just did a Google search for Stone Brewing East Coast. Richmond is a finalist. Columbus is a finalist.
Right.
Possibly Manchester.
Manchester, New Hampshire?
No,
I'm just looking
I
at
do want to
looking at the headlines that came up.
As a skimmy, I want to throw this out there is that Greg Cook is from Ohio. He was actually I can't remember the town because it was like some weird name. He was only like an hour and a half, 2 hours away southeast of Columbus.
That's cool.
I don't know if this is Manchester, New Hampshire. Could there be a Manchester like near Richmond, Virginia?
Hmm.
Because this is like a Richmond something or a Manchester neighborhood or something. Is that possible? Let's see. Um, anyway, looks like Pennsylvania squandered the opportunity. So many frickin' parasites around here. If I was stoned, I wouldn't open in Pennsylvania. Be like, really? You know, who's got a? Is there like a? I'd rather go with somewhere that has a better private mafia instead of the state-run mafia.
Hmm. When was this? When was this? August 4th.
I know when I went to Three Floyds, and I'm kind of kicking my ass for not doing this. All right, they were selling their zombie dust for $40 a case, and I was talking to the manager over at Friar Tuck's, and she said you could have doubled your money
Easily.
Oh, sure.
down here in Springfield. You could have sold a 6-pack of that zombie dust for $20. Easy down here. Easy.
You
Well,
could
and Chris, I'll just remind you, my birthday is December 4th. If you have time to get some more zombie dust.
I'll mark it on my calendar tomorrow too.
Yeah, you could easily charge $25 a 6-pack, and somebody
Yeah.
would buy it.
Yeah. So anybody listening, there's your beer tip for the month right there.
But is it are quantities limited? Could you pull up a truck and load up a pallet?
I saw people going out of there with like 3 or 4 cases, 4, 5, 6 cases.
I mean, if you're going to make, but could you get 50 cases or 100 cases? I don't know what they're.
I don't know if there was a limit or not, but I saw people carrying out 3, 4, 5, 6 cases of this out of the brewery. Plus, Three Floyds has got $10 million for an expansion, and they need to expand big time.
Yeah.
Well, far as expansion-wise, from what I heard from Three Floyds, they're going to stick in the area, but they will do a brewery expansion. Just to how did they want to put it? They're going to stick in the same distribution area that they're already in,
Right.
but they're just going to put out a larger quantity.
Yeah, because right now you can only get Three Floyds in the Chicagoland area.
I can get it over here.
I can't get it down here.
When it comes in, usually the most popular things that we get, or the most frequent things that we get their bombers, and anything that usually comes in that I see up here, I see the majority of zombie dust, and usually it's limited to a 6-pack per person.
Wow.
And bomber wise, I mean, it's just first come first serve.
Like I said, when I went up there a couple weeks ago, I tried their Gumball Head, and that was by far right now, the best beer I've had all year was that Gumball Head.
All right. December 4th, Gumball Head.
They had another one that just came out. Let me see if there has a name for it. What was it? The Flemish Red. It was called the Big Tatty Assassin. It was their first shot at a Flemish Red style beer.
I almost forgot that I had this. I picked this up the other day. It's from Left Hand Brewing Company. Colorado connection. You wouldn't understand. It's the Stranger American Pale Ale. I'm going to open it. Because guess who doesn't have to go to work tomorrow?
Nice.
Me.
Let's see, can I share a screenshot of this beer? I can. Let's share a screenshot. That is what the label looks like.
You got to give them points for creativity.
That you do.
Alrighty then.
Right. I mean, they, out of all the beer companies that I ever know, I mean, it's like their biggest thing is comic book style creativity. Most of their labels are done by their favorite artist or actual comic book creators.
Certainly the opposite of the main beer company label strategy. You know, the ultra.
Plain?
Hold up. Do you still have that
Plain?
bottle? Hold
Yes,
up the
I
label.
do.
Hold up that label.
Hold on a second. You mean ultra plain?
Yeah, I mean to an extreme. And every beer they make has that exact same design. Just
I was gonna say, don't they just have like a different little smiley face on it?
Yeah, maybe there's that, if anything. It's like they're like,
Hey, it's a classic label, man.
well, it stands out for that. If you see that label, you recognize it amongst all the crazy wild shit. Whether it's any, and they can come up with a new beer tomorrow, and you'll still recognize it as Maine Beer Company as soon as you see that white label. Across the beer store.
I think when Michelle Shingal bought me a 2-month Beer of the Month club for my birthday. I think it was last year or the year before, one of those two. There was one brewery from like Nantucket or something that was pretty plain too. So.
If you guys haven't seen a post from me, I have to throw out a shot of my new Stein that I just picked up this week, the 2014 edition.
It's decadent.
I said, well, okay. The only one I'm missing now is the 2013, and I have the set so far.
Scott's got the Sam Adams shrine there. Yeah, everybody goes to his house to worship the shrine of Jim Koch. Be like, oh, almighty Jim Koch. Almighty. Hey, Scott, did you know that there's a new Brewdogs?
Yes, I heard, and the final episode was to be aired soon. It's going to pit the two members of the Brewdog Company with homebrewers against each other.
That is an awesome show.
Mm-hmm.
My beer sensei was just telling me, he was just like, dude, you need to watch, you need to at least DVR Brewdogs. I mean, they're just, it's incredible what they've done this season. I was just like, really? He's
I
like,
haven't
yeah.
caught nothing yet this season, but I watched all of last season's, and I was impressed. I mean, it was very innovative.
Yes, it was. So,
What network is that on?
Esquire.
I did not. In fact, I got rid of all my TV service. So now, if it's not on Netflix or Amazon Video, I'm out of luck.
I don't even get it over here. I just have to download the episodes after they come out. But I did like what they did with Stone Brewing Company, and they did it on a train, a moving train. They went with Boston Beer Company, and they did it out on the ocean, and they did the water was that they used for the brew was done after they cooked New England lobster in it.
That's why. Why? Just to make sure it's not kosher? I mean, what do you really gain from that, you know?
Their thing is, no matter where they go, they want to do it by
in the style of the town or the city,
right,
or something like that. Yeah.
They did the one. Where the heck were they? I can't remember where they were, but they were at the highest altitude that they could possibly get, and they almost passed out while they were doing the brew because of the fact that there was very little oxygen in the air.
Why not? I remember, what was that series that had the one where they did Dogfish Head? Remember that?
It was a 4-part series from actual Dogfish Head. It was on the Discovery Channel.
It was like their own documentary. I guess they made about themselves. Is that what it was?
Yeah. They did 4 episodes. They were going to return, but I guess something happened where they just pulled out. It's actually on DVD. My wife got me that for Christmas. She has an infatuation with the brew owner.
Interesting. Tell her to start working on some chicha beer for you. Does she have some of that like corn she can chew on?
Right. I told her no. I said no.
It's the woman's job to chew the corn. Come on.
Right, but I was like, no, I can't do that. I was like, everybody has a limitation. I was also very close to not actually trying the Rogue's Beard beer. But I was like, I do understand that everything is like boiled and it's like sanitary, but when you think about that, I mean, the yeast came from the man's beard, and they cultivated it into their own style of yeast strain just for that specific beer, and I was like, dude, that's just not right.
Hey, there's worse places you can find yeast. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't. Yeah, no.
Where do you think the first? How do you think the first, like leavened bread was created?
Ew.
Why do you think? Why do you think that the early Jews were like, no leavened bread, no leavened bread? I mean, there's got to be some reason for that, right? Don't eat pork, you get trichinosis.
Right.
Don't eat that leavened bread because we know what happened.
That's like I make jokes now because the big thing going around right now is like bronchitis. Everybody around here is getting bronchitis, and I'm been over it for almost a week now. And she's like, "How are you feeling so good? And why do I feel like crap?" I said, "Because I'm drinking beer." I said, "Don't you realize," I said, "in ancient times they actually used beer as a healing agent?" I said, "Because of the fact that it's sterilized." I said, "And there's no bacteria in it besides, good bacteria."
Yeah, but you know what? They also, would drink cobra blood and shit for
Right.
health
And
purposes
they would
too.
use
So I take it with a grain of salt.
spent grains were actually used as an anal fumigant.
Say that again. What was?
Spent grains. They would actually use those spent grains from the brewing process and make an anal fumigant.
Too much information.
Alrighty.
Yeah, they said, well, that process has ceased to exist nowadays because we got better options. That comes from the wonderful video How Beer Saved the World.
I've seen that, but I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Didn't remember. I must have missed that part. I would remember that.
and then there was another series that was very good. If you got it, it was starring Mike Rowe, was the narrator. How Booze Built America.
That's a pretty common theme. I don't think anybody denies the role. Thaddeus Russell has a whole book on how like drunkards and prostitutes, won the revolution.
Right, pretty much. 'Cause what was the rule of thumb back then? I can't remember, every 6 or 8 miles, it was by law that there had to be a pub.
By law?
Yeah, they actually made it a law. I believe it was in Connecticut.
And how was this law enforced? If there was no pub, who would be arrested for that?
Well, we had our own, by standards back then, we had our own govern, but we were still under the rule of King George at the time. So it was like, if you didn't have a pub in your town, you would be excess taxed.
Ah, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Now they tax you for not having, the right health care. Back
Right,
then it was for not having a proper brew pub in your town.
right. It was like, okay, you don't have a watering hole, we're going to tax you.
Hmm.
I said, you know what? Um, I would rather be taxed for the watering hole instead of the actual health care.
Looks like Chris had dropped out. I think he's on his way back in.
We make jokes, but yeah, that's Walmart internet.
Chris, did you buy your internet at Walmart?
No, actually, my internet is the Uverse from AT&T.
Well, that's just as bad.
What is that? What is it?
The Uverse.
Yeah, what kind of a service is that? Is it a cable?
It's supposed. No, it's not cable.
Is it like a mobile phone connection?
No, it's It used to be hooked up to our I can't exactly tell you what it is, but it's like it's supposedly the top-notch thing that AT&T's got right now.
I think it's their digital stuff. I still think it's ran off of fiber optic because of the fact that even we can't get it out here as of yet. Um, it still has something to do with cable restrictions because we have Time Warner out here, and Time Warner owns like the majority share, and they won't let them in.
Right.
So I still think it has to do with some kind of like cable fiber optic.
Yeah, I'm looking at it online. It's a fiber optic. It's like a TV, internet, phone kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had just gotten rid of FiOS, which is the same kind of thing, I guess. And I signed up for a Comcast internet only account, for like $40 a month for just internet.
Okay.
And while I'm on vacation, I get a call. Somebody says, "Hey, I just wanted to make sure. Well, I'm calling to check and make sure that the TV service that you ordered, is working for you." I'm like, check again. It's like, no, we got it right here. Somebody inside Comcast had signed me up for an extra like $100 a month in TV service.
Woo!
Ouch.
Like completely like on their own. And it's like, no, I don't think so. And anyway, after literally like an hour on the phone, they're like, "Oh, we're going to upgrade your, sorry about that. We're going to upgrade your internet connection now to our maximum speed at no charge." So I'm now getting like 20 megabits or whatever, like in bandwidth for $40.
That's still a whole lot cheaper than I'm paying.
But I got no TV with it, no. But I have a phone that's one of these, what's it called? Uma or something like that. It's kind of like a Magic Jack, except there's no monthly fee at all. Once you buy the hardware, all you pay is like a phone tax, like $2 a month
Right.
in phone tax, and works through the internet. It's like as a landline. But so yeah, I've got internet TV, internet phone, internet, all coming through this. Anyway, literally knocked like $150 a month off the bill.
Hey, anyway, to save yourself some money, that's excellent.
Yeah, but like we were like, well, we want to watch Doctor Who. So like, all right. So I run a virtual private network now on my computer that I changed my IP address to look like I'm in England and just look at the BBC. Like BBC will let you watch the shit online if you're in England. So thanks, UK taxpayers, victims. Anyway. So Scott, we were talking earlier about maybe trying to reformulate the show calendar and maybe consolidate it to try to get more, make it a little bit, maybe more interesting and less of a burden on participants. Since we've been having some trouble getting, getting our panel of bullshit experts. So I don't know. I think we're going to start a thread on the Facebook page and maybe see what we can brainstorm to just make it. I'd like to see. I'd like to see a more regular presence. Guests booked ahead of time. I think that's what really made it fun is when we had these proper guests booked
You know, that way every show has a different flavor. You know.
Right, right. I can just like, to me, it's like now with school starting up, I mean, anybody with kids, I mean, they have to deal with their kids, they got to deal with work, I mean, coming home, they got dinner to make, schoolwork to go over with their kids, or after school programs and whatnot. Just to throw it out there, I mean, it all depends on people's work schedules as well.
Right. So let's see if we can. I don't know. Let's see if we can discuss these things and come up with a plan that works. Maybe maybe make it every other week, and and tighten it up to like one hour. So we can drop in, cover some beers, have some laughs, meet a new guest, and then leave them wanting more. That's just some ideas that I was thinking of. Just brainstorming.
Right. I could also throw out there, hey, every now and then throw in like a late evening weekend chat.
Why not?
Get more personal, get more involved with what's going on in the beer industry, what's going on with what you're drinking, what you've had throughout the week. Maybe it could happen on some of the off weeks. Be like, if you're going to do it every other week, be like, maybe we'll throw in a weekend chat on like maybe a Saturday, because I mean that would give people the next day to recuperate.
Yeah, or maybe call it like the beer review, the weekly beer review, where we just give everybody a chance to review what they've been drinking for the week. That could be interesting.
She's been getting full. Looks like you need her changed out.
But so anyway, let's get that thread going on Facebook, so we can see if we can get some input. Figure out a way to book the guests. I guess Garrett was sort of working on that before, and now that he's dropped out. But I think having some fun guests, booked a couple weeks ahead of time, would make it a lot more interesting.
Anybody know what happened with him? I mean, besides trying to get his work schedule readjusted?
I haven't heard from him since.
We'll have to, let's bust his balls.
Okay,
Anyway.
James, you're the best at doing that. You go right ahead.
I'm a good ball buster. All right.
You're a good ball buster.
Poke at him
See what I can
politically.
do. See what I can do. Anyway, I'm going to have to bail out for now. Unfortunately, I still have work to do tonight. And it's definitely getting thick with kids back in school now. Man, it's a busy time.
Yeah, mine just started, so I know how that feels.
So I got one that's able to take a school bus. The other now has to be driven an hour each way, each direction.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that sucks.
It's a great school though, so
Hey,
That's
it's worth
cool.
it. So anyway, well, I'm going to say goodnight, guys. Let's reconvene on a Facebook thread to do some strategizing.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good
All
to
right.
me.
Good night, guys.
Night,
Good
man.
night, James. Mr. Scott.
I will probably try to post up a lot of pictures and probably some video of when I'm down in Oktoberfest.
Oh yeah, that's coming up, isn't it?
Yep, next 2 weeks.
Oh wow. I'm going to it's called the Springfield Oyster and Beer Festival. I scraped up enough money to buy 2 tickets for the other half and I to go on Saturday, and I'm really excited about going to this because my buddy, he went last year, and he said he had a blast. So
Very nice.
I may do like on spot, like with my cell phone, like an on spot like interview or something, and then
Right.
upload it through my phone
Yeah, I plan on trying to do the same
type
thing.
type thing, you know, because I know all the distributors. I know every single one of them. I know people from
Speaking of which, have you guys got in Sam's new lager pack yet?
which lager pack.
It's called Adventure in Lagers.
No,
Be looking for that.
okay. Everybody's been asking for the. What is that? I think you had mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. It's not the It's the Boston Ale.
Yeah, for some reason that's like very rare.
Everybody's been
Wow.
asking for it. Everybody's been asking for it. A gal came into Schnucks, which is a local grocery store here in Springfield, and she was shopping for the band Boston, which was performing at the state fair here in Springfield a couple weeks ago. And she said, "I'm looking for the Boston Ale."
Yeah, I don't understand
So
why,
you
but
guys
it's
carry it.
rather
And I
rare
was just like,
past the Ohio Valley.
no. They go, no, they don't care. Our our distribution distributes Sam Adams, but we have not seen that one.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay. And she picked up a couple of 6-packs of the Boston Lager or something.
Right.
Right, but I was just like, no, I don't think I haven't seen that.
Yeah, the next one to actually come out, they said that they were supposed all lager pack. Every beer in it's going to be a lager. But it's going, as far as I know, it's supposed to hold the chocolate chili bock, which was called the Vixen. It actually came out a couple of years ago, like 2011, 2012. It was only in bombers. Now they're going to do it in 12-ounce bottles. It will be the return of the Imperial Pilsner, which they're now just calling Double Pilsner. They've got two new styles coming out, which is a black lager, or what they're calling a double black lager, and a Helles style bock. And I'm pretty sure that they'll probably throw in a Boston lager and probably just another generic lager, maybe even the Oktoberfest. But the other two are still kind of elusive to me. But they said it was supposed to come out this month, so I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
They said the packaging looks really cool. It's going to be something completely different than what they normally do. I said, well, if it works for you, man, keep it innovative, keep it fresh, keep it new.
Yep. I
picked up another bomber of their double pumpkin ale, the Fat Jack. I can't wait. I'm thinking about taking that one back down to Cincinnati with me.
Okay. I had my buddy bought some beers for my little celebration for my birthday last Saturday, and he got this. It's from Shipyard Brewing Company, and it's called the Pumpkinhead.
If you can find it, I would tell you to try their Smashed Pumpkin. It's by Shipyard, but it's by It's called the Pugsley series.
Okay.
I think that's one of their main brewers. He does 22-ounce bottles, but it's a lot different. I had the Pumpkinhead last year. I said, nah, it was okay, but
But
it wasn't up to par with a
but
lot of the other.
this year they must have did something different because it actually tastes like pumpkin pie with the whipped fucking cream on it.
Nice.
I was just like, even my wife loved it. She's like, "Oh my god, this is almost as good as the O'Fallon pumpkin beer."
Do you
Which,
guys get Southern Tier out there?
yes, we get Southern Tier, and are you talking about the pumpkin? Yeah, that goes quick.
We
If
still
you're
got
not,
pallets of it
if
out.
you're not, if you're not in line on Thursday when the distribution comes in
Nice.
for Southern Tier, and I forgot which distributor does it. It's not us. But if you're not in line to get that, or you don't pre-order it ahead, it's gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
We still got pallets of it sitting out here at the grocery store.
Shit, I need to make a trip out to Ohio then.
Have you heard of the Warlock?
The Warlock, yep.
Yep.
Yep. Southern Tier makes some really good stuff. They really do.
Both bottles are selling for like $8.99 out here.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
It was like last year I paid $10.99 for both of them.
Right.
I said, well, more in quantity. I said now they're at the local chain grocery store, Giant Eagle. I said, so Giant Eagle's got like a pallet of the stuff sitting out on their store floor, and it's like $8.99. I said, well, give me a couple of these.
You might as well, right?
Right. I had two.
Shit.
I've had two of the pumpkin. I've had one of the Warlock, and I just picked up my second Fat Jack this evening. And even the Fat Jack for Sam Adams in a 22-ounce bottle, it was only $7.99.
I picked up this from Goose Island, and I rarely pick up anything from InBev
Right.
or InBev product. Okay? But this is straight from their brewery, their actual brewery in Chicago.
Right. That's the one
Okay.
that they left alone.
Yeah, this is the one that they brew all their specialty stuff in.
Right.
Okay, not their main, like the 312
Yep.
and their pale ale and all that kind of stuff.
That's the
Okay,
stuff
down
that
in St. Louis.
InBev
Right,
brought out.
right. This is the one that they do all their specialty brews in. Okay, and it's the Ogden.
Okay.
It's a Belgian triple,
Nice.
and it was pretty good. And you know what? This is gonna knock the socks off you, Scott. $4 for a 4-pack.
Damn. That is good.
I looked at that and I was like, I gotta get it.
Right. I mean, yeah. Don't pass
I
it
didn't
up.
second guess it. I was like, I gotta get it. The wife's like, go get it. I was like, yep, I'm getting it.
You guys get their Bourbon County stuff when it's released out there?
That's another one of their stuff that is like, if you're not there
Right.
on Tuesday, okay, when their shipment comes in, it's gone.
Right. I still got one of their Bourbon County barley wines that somebody sent me through the mail or through UPS. I still got one of it left. I'm like, yeah, it's still like 12.5%. I'm sitting on
Yep.
it. I'm gonna let it age for a little bit.
Speaking of, I picked up this one from Lakefront. Have you ever had any Lakefront brewery stuff?
I don't believe I have.
Okay, Lakefront is from like Milwaukee.
Right.
and they brew up some really good stuff. I had a 22-ounce bomber of their black IPA, and it was really good.
Nice.
Okay, and the surprising fact of it all was that they had a 4-pack of their 22-ounce bombers for $8.
Wow.
Okay, it was on clearance. I picked up like 3 or 4 4-packs of it. Anyway, they have this one that I picked up. It's more of a Christmas kind of beer, but the alcohol is like 9.4%, but it was sitting, on sale at Friar Tuck's the other day. Okay, it's this one, all right, and it's actually not bad, and it's even better now that it's like anything to me over 9%, you gotta let it just chill for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't just let it just you can't just drink it right away unless if it's like an IPA or something.
Are you those people that could buy a beer and let it age?
Not so much let it age, but it will sit in my fridge for maybe about 3 or 4 months before I even drink one.
Okay, well,
but this one, it was bottled last November or something.
Well, Stone Brewery's coming out with they've got a new thing that they're doing. Have you heard of their Enjoy By series?
Enjoy By, yes.
Well, they're now doing one that's called Enjoy After. And it's going to be, it says enjoy after 10/31/15.
Okay.
So they're going to sell you a beer. What the beer is, it's an actual IPA, but before they put the cap on it, they're going to put live Brett yeast in the bottle.
Okay.
They're going to cap it up, and you're supposed to let it ferment for a year.
Interesting.
I said it's very interesting. I said
interesting concept. I like that.
There's a lot of people out there that are already complaining about it because of the fact that they have to pay for this beer and they're not, supposed to drink it until after the date on the bottle. But I find that very interesting because it would get people into the right way to sell their beers.
Right. And I went to a beer festival earlier last month. Okay, and they had and I've had it twice. Okay, I had the Stone Go-To IPA out of the tap. Okay, and then I had it out of the bottle. 2 different Stone Go-To IPAs.
Right.
Okay, I think at the time I liked. When I first tried the Stone Go-To IPA out of the tap, it just blew me away.
Right.
Okay, but when I had out of the bottle, it was a little bit more crisper.
I can see that.
So, but ironically, okay, I would say that Go-To IPA was probably one of the best beers I've had all year.
Now, when you talk about, I mean, if you look at the Stone Go-To IPA, everybody's getting into this demographic where they have to make a session IPA. Well, in the big beer reviewer community or beer enthusiast community, there's a lot of people that argue that, an IPA, and once you're talking about with a session IPA, that, it's not a sessionable IPA, blah 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 blah. But what I try to get through to them, being in the younger crowd, because a lot of these gentlemen are just like, they're old timers, and they look at, if it's set in stone a certain way, you shouldn't change it. And I'm like, well, what they're doing here is that they're lowering the alcohol content, trying to give you the most in flavor. I said, and make it to the point where you're going to be able to drink, maybe two, three, four of them, and be able to still drive yourself home. Or if you're working in your yard, or if you're working in your garage and you just reach in and grab a beer, you're going to be able to drink this, and you're still going to be able to continue your day. I
Right.
say, or coming down, we're now getting into football season. Grab a six pack of that, sit back and watch the game.
Right.
I said it's not all about grabbing the biggest beer that you can find, getting yourself blitzed out your mind, and pass out.
And that's the one thing I love about the craft beer, okay, is that, when I was younger, I would drink like an 18 fucking pack of MGD, and just get blitzed.
Dude,
Okay.
I was the one white boy around this town that could probably sit there and smash on probably about 4 or 5 bottles of Old English 40 ounces and be knocked out.
Yeah. And I'd be the type of person that would be like drink like eight Mickey 40 ounces in like 2 hours.
Right.
Okay. And now it's like I can, and my drinking habits, Scott. Okay. I can't just have just one style of a beer.
Right.
Okay. If you look at my fridge, okay, it's not like Greg's, okay? which I see he's posting YouTube videos again,
Yeah,
okay?
he's back from vacation.
He's back for vacation, so, I already gave him a
Look
shout
at my
out.
fridge today.
Right. I already gave him a shout out earlier in the episode.
Right.
But if you look at my fridge, okay, you would see different styles, okay, and I can go, and like I said, I could go from like an IPA to a stout to a seasonal beer or whatever, okay,
Right.
because that's how I am. I don't like to have two things back to back, unless if I really like it. If I'm
Right.
really in the mood, okay, I'll drink this type of IPA or this type of IPA or this type of stout, this type of stout or
Right.
whatever, but I don't like to grab just a 6-pack of that particular, beer, okay,
Sit back
and then
drink
just
the whole
drink
thing.
it all night. That's not me.
Right. That's why I love the fact that we have certain stores that will allow you to do, your own mix of six packs.
Yes, and we have, and a lot of the local stores here in Springfield are going to that.
Nice.
Okay, I've got like Friar Tuck's that does it, 6-pack for $9.99. County Market does it for $9.99. Hy-Vee, they do their own. A lot of stores are going to that style, to where okay, well, what do we do with a busted 6-pack?
Right.
Why should we send back the other 5?
You don't need to. You can make your money.
You don't
off
need
it.
to. You could just put it back. You can put it on the shelf, and hopefully someone will buy. In a mix of 6.
Right.
It sounds good to me.
Even if you get, let's say that you get 2 that are busted inside the shipping. Okay, so all right, cut those 2 off and just sell it as a 4-pack.
No, or you just put it on this. You just put it on the shelf with a lot of the other, singles. Okay, and then do a mix of 6.
Right.
I think that's a really good idea. Instead of shipping it back to the distributor, okay, which you're going to get minimal refund off of, okay, just do a mix of 6. Someone will buy it eventually.
See, and that's another thing that I wish Ohio would, I mean, they're starting to do more like that. I mean, you got a little shelf inside like our local Giant Eagle. It's a little bit more expensive. I mean, their mix of 6 is like $11.99.
Right.
But at the same time, I said, it's a small, very small shelf. It's like a small bookshelf that they, put up like 12 beers that they've like broken down into like singles. And I said it's a good idea. But at the same time, if you look at the store setup, it's they don't know what they're doing. You got, I think it's like 6 coolers that you can look at, and then you go around the corner, you walk into their walk-in cooler, which is behind the 6 coolers, and all of what you see on the left-hand side is craft beer, and then when you look on the right-hand side, from one edge all the way down, it's nothing but BMC beer, and then they got pallets of BMC beer sitting in the middle of the floor. I'm like, just to throw this out there, I said, you got a valuable space here. I said, because if you walk right out of there, you've got, rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of wine. I said, that's good. I said, and then if you walk, through this little doorway, I said, this is your liquor department. I said, if you take this whole back wall, open it up, and put in like the refrigerated shelves, I said, you could put up rows and rows of bombers that you could do in singles. I said, and do your mix of 6 right here. Oh, that's too much trouble. That costs too much money. I said, but if you realize, I said, if you give people more choices, you're going to make more money.
And you know what? I love choices.
Right.
I mean, that's what what would just happen if you just walked into the store and your choices were Miller Lite and Coors Light?
I'd walk right back out.
I'd walk right the fuck back out.
Right.
And you know what? I distribute both of them.
Right.
Okay. I would literally just walk out.
Right.
Oh, those are my choices? It's like choosing Democrat or Republican on a ballot.
Right.
What? There's no third party on there? I'm not voting. Fuck that. I'm leaving.
I've complained about that before because, when it comes to, let's say, city taxes, or, if they're going to put this new tax on the ballot and you're sitting there looking at it, you're like, your choice is either yes or you're no. Okay? When you go in there and you say, okay, I don't want to be taxed no more, so I'm going to click no. And so just like everybody else does, I mean, either they go home, they watch the nightly news before they go to bed to see, how their, voting turned out, or they wake up the next morning and read it in the newspaper. But if you're in that demographic of people that sat there and chose no, and all these people, voted yes, okay, so it passed by a small margin. I said, whatever happened? Where's that no man? Where's the person that's going to represent the people that said no? I said, I still feel like that I'm in that small margin where I feel like that I'm not represented because of the fact that I sat there and said, no, I don't want this tax.
Right, and you know what? That's the difference between democracy and a republic.
Right.
Okay, the republic, a republic is supposed to look out for the minority, the interests of the minority. Right. Okay, a democracy is 51%.
Right.
Okay, and that's one of the reasons why I'm really very leery about voting, is because, I could have voted for the loser and I get no representation.
Right. I know
You
a
know what
lot
I
of
mean?
people that don't vote because they still feel like their vote does not count.
Right. So, in a lot of cases, when it comes to, and really truly educated voter, okay, it's like damned if you do and fucking damned if you don't.
Right. But see that goes upon, everybody thinks that oh look his Sam Adams collection, his Sam Adams collection. But I was also before that I was a fan of the person before I was the beard. Um, Sam was, I mean, he was dirt poor. Uh, he actually had people in the town after he got elected to represent the poor folk of Boston and Massachusetts. They actually came to him, rebuilt his house, furnished his outfits that he wore to all his meetings. They gave him and his wife money, cattle, food. They rebuilt his shed that was out in the backyard. The people of the town that he lived in took care of him, and he represented them to the fullest. And I was just like, I was astounded because of the fact that in that time, it was like because he was the representative for the small people banded together, chipped in, and he was one of those true to the heart, representatives that actually sat there and gave a damn instead of, all the money that he could have made
Right.
and actually held his part of the bargain. Now it's all about who's got the more money.
Right. You're preaching to the choir.
Right. If you get a chance to, I'm still involved in it now myself, but there's a book, and matter of fact, I think I still have it sitting around here. Yep, right here. I'm still reading it myself. It's Samuel Adams, A Life. And this gives everything about his history and about his participation in the revolution. And
Right.
absolutely everything out of the book has just been phenomenal.
He was a good guy. He was a revolutionary,
Right. And I almost believe that we need free thinkers like that
And,
again.
and I believe Sam Adams was one of the uh, anti-federalists as well.
Right. I mean, even though his brother or his cousin, was considered to be the second president of the United States.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, think back then, I mean, they had totally different beliefs. I mean, they were, just fresh, new, set free from tyranny of the government coming, or the king over in England and their government. But even some of their government said, why are we doing this to these people? Why just leave them alone, let them govern themselves. But the king wanted to, extort as much money out of them as possible. And if they didn't want to do that, then, what are they worth to me? Just kill them.
Right.
But like Jim Bab said, it's like, people say, oh, well, America was set free by a bunch of farmers, drunkards, and prostitutes. And, whether or not they were, or, just common townsfolk, if you got a firm belief in something, band together, do something about it. But nowadays, I mean, you got some, I hate to say it this way, but a lot of lazy people that just don't care.
Right.
That's why I try to get as many people to get up off their butts and get out there and vote as possible.
And I take the opposite approach.
Right.
And I tell people, maybe you need to think of ways you can, help your community that doesn't involve voting.
Right.
Because to me, Scott, voting is not the end all.
No, it's not.
Okay, voting is not the end all. Going to your polling place and voting for Joe Schmo and Joe Schmo, okay, it is not the end all. Okay, I mean, and I'm gonna reiterate this, all right, and because I'm very, set in my values and
Right.
in my religion and whatever, okay, is that there here in Springfield there's a law against feeding the homeless.
Really?
Yes, there is.
Wow.
There is a law against pandering to the homeless.
Wow.
Okay, or the vagabonds or
Right.
that's the so you know what my wife does? She'll go home, she'll make a couple of sandwiches, and she's done this on occasion. Okay? She'll make a couple sandwiches and she'll go feed them.
Well, right. Nobody should
Okay?
actually starve. I mean, there should not be a
You know,
law.
and we don't do it, and we don't do it because of who we are. We do it because Christ commands us to do it. Okay? That's the reason why. All right? We should take care of one another. Okay?
I can't believe that there's a law.
There is a law in Springfield, Illinois, okay, to not feed the homeless. You cannot feed the homeless. You cannot feed the desolate. You cannot feed the vagabonds in your community.
There's no place that they could go.
There's places they can go, okay, but a lot of those resources are used up.
Man.
Okay, so if you see someone on the side of the road that says, I'm homeless, I'm hungry, or whatnot, you're supposed to ignore them.
Wow.
It's just like, no. It's like, no. My Savior and it commands me to help those, okay, who need it. All right? I'm not going to let someone sit by like that.
Right.
That could be me. That could be me one day.
Right. I mean, I meet people with different, beliefs, different values. Even when it comes to play, I mean, I set all religions and all, personal feelings aside, and I even set, government, whether it's religion and state and, House of Representatives, whatnot. I set that stuff aside because, as a whole, as the human race, I know people do bad things. Everybody, no matter who they are, they can always say, they're the purest of pure. Sometime in your life, you can wind up doing something that's considered to be a bad thing. Whether you're bad or not. I mean, I look at the country now, and it's just like the homeless rate has skyrocketed, the jobless rate has skyrocketed. People need help. And if we, as people, as human beings, can't help other human beings because there's a law set against it, no, kiss my ass. I'm gonna still help them.
Yeah, exactly. It's called civil disobedience, and people need to, take a page from Martin Luther King, Gandhi, okay, all them guys, okay, that Emerson, Thoreau, okay, all those guys who set the path before we did. Okay, and just take a page from them and say, look, we are not going to take this. We're going to disobey this stupid law, okay,
Right.
that you set before us, and do what we feel is morally acceptable.
Right.
Right, and that's what we do. That's what we do. We laugh at the law, okay, and say, whatever.
Right. It's stupid. It shouldn't be there to begin with, and we're going to just do what we're going to do anyway.
Exactly. And we should start. We really should start disobeying unjust laws.
Right.
Okay. Look at the path that was set before us. Look at Rosa Parks.
Right.
Okay. You think she was gonna cow down and say, "Okay, I'll go to the back of the bus"?
No, she stood firm to what
She
she
stood
believed.
firm in what she believed in. She said, "Fuck you. I'll sit in the front of the bus. I don't care if you got some sucky law that says black people should sit at the back of the bus. Fuck that. Okay,
Right.
I'm a human motherfucking being. Okay,
Right.
I worked my ass off. Okay, I'm sitting at the fucking front of the bus. You know, fuck you bitches. All right, you ain't shit, and you're gonna throw me in jail for this. And look at what happened.
Yep.
Boycotted. And you know what? Those bus companies lost money.
Right.
Okay? Because of the actions. Okay? That's what it takes, man.
Yeah,
But people don't have the courage anymore to do that kind of stuff.
right.
They
That's what
they ra- they rather just complain about it. They
I
rather
think.
just complain.
I think in general, even from my neck of the woods, I mean, it seems to me where when I said people will just get lazy, I mean, a lot of people seem like that they just have things handed to them. And by that I mean they don't have to work for things like most other people do. It's like, my situation, I mean, I'm happy. I've got beer to drink on. I've got a happy, family. My wife is healthy. My son's healthy. We're able to, pay what we need to pay to get by. But at the same time, I'm like, I see all these other people out there, and by what other people I mean, it's just people in general. They don't want to do nothing. They don't want to get a job. They don't want to pay taxes. They want things handed to them. Oh, give me that, EBT card. Let me get welfare. Let me get free medical. Who's paying for this shit? Everybody that actually has a job.
But Scott, not everybody who receives food stamps doesn't work.
Over here, they get by with everything, dude.
Oh, really? Because there are a lot of people who do work that make like minimum wage, all right? And that's a whole different subject. Okay, the whole minimum wage, that's a whole different subject. Okay, because I see a lot of people complaining about minimum wage. All right? There's a actual ballot question here in Illinois, okay, put on the ballot by the governor, okay, saying should we raise minimum wage to 10.25 an hour or something in the state of Illinois?
That's almost like a trick question.
Scott, I make $10 an hour right now.
Right.
I don't want minimum wage raised. Okay? Because there are three factors in raising minimum wage. One, everything else is going to go up.
Well, inflation's
Minimum
definite.
wage is raised. Okay? And the people don't realize it's not minimum wage that keeps people down. Okay? It's inflation. Inflation that keeps people down.
Yep.
Okay? Every time you go to the grocery store and you go to the grocery store like 1 week milk is $1.98 a gallon, okay, and then you go to next week it's $2.39.
Yep.
That's inflation. You go to the store and it's like 12 a dozen of eggs is like $1.29 a dozen. and then you go to next week, it's like $1.59. That's inflation.
Yep.
That's inflation, folks. That's not minimum wage.
No,
That's
it's not.
That's not anything else. That's inflation. Inflation.
Right. That's why-
Inflation hurts the poor and the middle class in this country. It's
and
not
that's
minimum
another thing.
wage.
They,
Minimum wage is a political tool,
right.
okay, used by the Democrats, majority of the Democrats, okay, that get votes, okay, to increase their popularity.
See, the one big thing that a lot of people, no matter what their race, creed, religion, whatever around here, the one thing that they get away with: have more babies, we'll give you more. They get free schooling, they get free medical, they get food stamps, they get housing, they get cars, they get everything handed to them.
You know, I wish you know the whole thing when they say that women should get free birth control or whatever because because certain circumstances. What about the men?
Right.
Where's my free 12-pack of condoms every month?
Yeah, if a man chooses to, where's his free hysterectomy?
Yeah, where's my free hysterectomy?
Right.
Not like I actually do it, okay?
Right.
But where's in my healthcare? You purchase a healthcare policy, okay? For a woman, she gets a certain amount of free, birth control or whatever. But for a guy, it's like, where's mine covered?
Right.
I'm purchasing the same damn healthcare, okay? Where's mine covered?
And another thing that I've heard recently,
It takes two to tango.
I find it's very stupid, is that number one, it was said quite a while ago, wasn't it, that doctors couldn't turn away patients?
Right.
Okay, but now there's a lot of doctors that are actually turning away people that actually have Obamacare.
And there's a lot of doctors that are quitting because of Obamacare.
Yes.
They're
Yeah,
like,
I've been seeing that a lot.
I'm making less now than I did, and I'm making less under Obamacare than I did before Obamacare.
Right.
You think I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing?
Right.
Shit. No way.
I said, man, this whole thing was, it was going to be a problem. I was right.
I told people back in I worked for a company, okay, and it's safe for me to say it now. Walmart. Okay. All right. Who, when Obamacare was first drafted or whatever,
Right.
they were all on board.
Really?
Walmart was the only major retailer that was on board
Wow.
with Obamacare. Why? Because it's cheaper to pay the fine than it is to give the employee the health care.
Right.
Okay? Now, over the years since then, as Walmart goes, everybody else will follow.
Right.
If you look at the reports from Walmart, okay, if Walmart will do it, everybody else will eventually follow the lead. Walmart is the largest private business in the country.
Yep.
Okay? It employs more people than anybody else except the United States government.
Yep.
Okay? So, as Walmart goes, all the other private businesses will follow. So you see a lot of other companies saying, well, shit, it works for Walmart.
Right.
It's going to work
Works
for
them,
us
it's gonna
too.
work for us.
Right. So once Walmart pulled their little shenanigans, okay, with the Obamacare, you saw companies like Red Lobster, Olive Garden, okay, and a lot of other companies pulling the same shenanigans, okay, that Walmart did.
Ah,
So if you want to see any trends in the private business, you want to look at Walmart and what Walmart does.
nah.
It does not take a rocket scientist
Right.
to realize this. Believe me. I worked in the belly of the beast.
That's just is so messed up.
It is. It is. And I saw a lot of people, okay, because I was exempt. I was full time. Okay, so they had to continue because I got hired before their deadline or whatever.
Yeah.
They had to they had to offer, I didn't say give, but offer me healthcare
Right.
options. Okay, but a lot of the part timers and the full timers afterwards, they were exempt. So they're like, "Oh, you're full time. Oh, do you want health care? Oh, I'm sorry. You're after the deadline that we set."
Man.
Yeah. Yeah. And now you have to understand why. Yeah, I took a little pay cut, okay, to get to where I'm at. But you know what?
Worth it.
I'm a little happier. I'm not to where I want to be yet, okay? Because I want to be a sales guy.
Right.
Okay, I want to sell the good beer. I want to be I want to be the craft beer specialist. Okay, and that's my goal. Okay, is be a craft beer specialist for any company that I want to work for. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to be the craft beer specialist. Okay, yeah, the profit margin on craft beer is a little bit less than the mass-produced crap. Okay, and that's fact. All
Right.
right, I'm not just pulling stuff out of my ass and just saying that. Okay, I've seen the numbers.
Right.
All right, but if you're pumping out 100 million barrels of Bud Light, okay, and you're only pumping out 2 million barrels of Beck's, okay,
Right.
where's your profit margin? Of course, it's in the Bud Light,
Right.
naturally, okay, but all right, if you take people who are like, well, I used to be a Bud Light drinker and now I'm a Beck's drinker, okay, you're siphoning a lot of those drinkers, okay, into the craft beer, and I shouldn't say I shouldn't really use Beck's, okay. Let's go for Sam Adams. All right, I used to be a Beck's drinker, okay. Some guy says I used to be a Beck's drinker, but 3 years ago I realized there's something different about the recipe. It's public knowledge. It's public knowledge. Okay, that InBev has watered down a lot of their subsidiaries.
Right.
Beck's, Rolling Rock. um, a lot of the stuff that is not Bud related.
Right.
Okay. And a lot of those guys, okay, have searched out to other uh, microbrews, whether if it's Sam Adams, Sierra Nevada, you know, uh, any other uh, microbrewery. Okay, we've seen a growth because a lot of those drinkers are like, well, this isn't the same recipe that I drank 3, 4, 5 years ago. People's habits are, this is not the same.
Right. I mean, even the loyalists to those companies can actually tell you that there is a difference.
Exactly.
When I have a few guys, they're older gentlemen, but they actually tasted, for example, I know a few of them that had the original Sam Adams when it was released to the rest of the country. They were around the New England states at the time, and they had that stuff fresh. They had it, freshly packed in the bottles, and they're like, that beer from 1985, 1986, when it was released to the rest of the public, tastes exactly the same then that it does now. And that's what I like about, small breweries and independent brewers, is because of the fact that when they find something that works, they don't change it. They keep it the same.
So yeah, I mean, um, what can you say? And that's the reason why, the craft beer has gained more of the share of in the beer market, okay, and even Budweiser has been losing,
Right.
okay, market share. It's all about market share,
Oh, yeah.
okay. Up until 2 or 3 years ago, Budweiser owned 48, 49% of the market share.
Yep.
And that's the reason why Miller and Coors combine, because they're like, well, we control their other 45% or 43% or whatever. Okay. So, we need to, do something to combat.
And even still today, Anheuser's still trying to buy out Miller Coors.
And you know what? Because of the antitrust laws that are on the books, okay, they won't be able to.
Yep.
Because they would control 92% of the beer market.
Right. They're not allowed to have a monopoly.
Yeah, look what happened. Look what happened to AT&T back in the late 70s.
Yep.
When it was Ma Bell. Okay, the federal government forced them to split up.
Yep.
Because they were a huge monopoly. Now, would I say that was right? No, I would not. From my political standpoint, okay, I would say that was not right. Okay, I believe in competition. All right. If you have a better product, okay, and a superior product, you're gonna get that market share.
Right.
Okay, but just because whatsoever, no, it's all about competition, and that's one of the reasons why, I happy that there there's no way, okay, that for Anheuser-Busch or InBev, okay, to buy out Miller Coors.
Right.
Because for one, a lot of us, even the guys on the bottom like me, the merchandisers, we would lose out on our jobs.
Oh, a lot of jobs would be killed.
A lot of that is a job killer.
Yep.
Huge job killer. But plus, what would say with InBev if they were to accomplish something like that, the buyout Miller Coors, okay, would they keep the brands that Miller Coors has?
I think that they would honestly get rid of a lot of them.
I think honestly they would too. And we carry in our distribution, we carry a lot of craft beer. I would say probably about 70% of the craft beer that you see in stores is Miller Coors related.
Right.
That we ship, that we distribute. We distribute the Sam Adams. We distribute the Sierra Nevada. We distribute the Leinenkugel. We distribute, the Dogfish Head. We distribute, a lot of the craft beer that's out there. And who's to say that if they were to buy out, Miller Coors, how many of those brands that they would keep? They would how would they approach Sam Adams and say, well, guess what? You're on your own. You're gonna have to distribute your own.
Right.
And it'd be like,
they would probably be one of the first to be targeted because of the fact that they hold a whole percent or a whole 2% share themselves.
Right. They would probably say, you know what? You guys are on your own.
Right. They'd be
Sam
like,
Koch would be like,
you're our competition.
Well, I've been saving money to have someone else distribute my stuff. Now I got to self-distribute.
Yep.
That's an added cost.
Yep.
So I'm just laying it out there, I mean, there's good things about this whole 3-tier system, and there's not so good things about the 3-tier system. But it's the best system we've got now.
Right.
I mean, like I said, I don't fully agree with it, and I haven't seen a better system yet. I mean, I run a beer traders group.
One? Yes. Has anybody come up with it to actually become plausible? No.
No. And I have a beer traders group, and I see requests every day from people asking, oh, does anybody have X, Y, and Z beer? And it's just like, and if it were to the point where, every company were to distribute their own freely, there would be a somewhat of a mix-up, but at least people would be able to get their beer. But at the same time, though, I'm kind of favoring this whole black market system where it's like, I'll trade you, 3 cans of Heady Topper, okay, for X, Y, and Z.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you're honest about it. You know what I mean?
That's the thing, though. I mean, that's where I've done a lot of trading. I mean, I've gotten tons of trades. I've traded back. I mean, it's just all in faithful. Are you going to really send me this? Okay, you're going to send me this. Okay, I got this. I let the person know, hey, I received your package today, and yours is going out tomorrow.
Right. And on my beer traders group, I've had one person out of 670, almost 680 people, okay, on my group that was dishonest.
Right.
One person. And we called that person out.
Right, which it should have been.
Okay? We said, this person facilitated a trade of this X, Y, and Z, and you haven't fulfilled your portion of it, yeah, only one person. So I got a pretty good group, I think.
Nice.
It's drama free. It's probably one of the best groups I've ever been in or have ever created. Okay, and people basically police themselves.
Which, I mean, if it's all, how do I want to say, personal business, I mean, they should. Unless even if there's one or two out of like 1,000 people that are, not, they're rambunctious, or they're constantly this and spam the page. I mean, they'll let the moderator know, and it's okay. Well, this person's got to go, or if this person hasn't fulfilled their end of the bargain and it's been X amount of time, okay, well then you got to go.
Right. And that one guy was just like, we tried to email him, and stuff, saying, you entered an agreement to exchange X, Y, and Z beer with X, Y, and Z. You got that guy's beer, but you haven't sent yours to him.
Right. It's almost
like
a written agreement if it's on a forum.
Right. So even in an email over, it's still kind of an agreement and a written agreement. And, we kind of, what we did was we banned a guy.
Right. Which,
after we gave him a warning, said, you have 7 days to rectify the situation or we will ban you from the group.
Right.
And the guy was literally just, I think, was trying to just get free beer.
But yeah,
but that's one case. That's one case out of almost 700 people.
Right. Which is good.
Which is great.
And I truly favor, beer trading across, wherever. Because of the fact that, certain people in certain distribution areas are easily able to, get certain items and certain products a lot easier and a lot faster than anybody else can. And I feel that, okay, you got something that I would love to try. How about I send you some of my local stuff?
Yeah. I think, with this whole, not able to get beer, your favorite beer, all over the country, I'm still looking for Oscar Blues. Because it's a Colorado, mostly it's a Colorado beer, but because it's good beer, it's excellent beer, and I still haven't had any of it.
None of it?
What?
You haven't had any of it?
No, I have not had the Deviant Dale.
Dude, if I see a pack of it up, I'll pick you up some. Because I know we get it out here.
And you know what? Because Jim Babb sends me stuff every year. He knows the way to my heart. Okay. Well, outside my wife. Okay. She really knows the way to my heart. But Jim Babb, with his, I take a trip up to, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine every year, to get the Heady Topper or whatever.
Right.
To me, that's still some of the best beer in this country. Okay, by far. All right. And since I can't find anybody who has had the Pliny the Elder.
Right, because as of right now, its distribution is limited to the West Coast all the way up to Colorado.
Yeah. So, I would literally have to go out to Colorado and probably get it and bring it
Oh,
back.
dude, it's if you look for it, I mean, I can almost guarantee you can find somebody to trade with it because I mean, it's widely available. I've had it like 3 different times. Traders are awesome, especially when they're out there in California.
Okay. And in another one that I really, really love is Firestone Walker. They put
No,
out
I have
some.
not had anything from them.
Oh wow! I can go up to Benny's tomorrow and get the Firestone Walker.
I heard their
Okay,
double jack is just something it's to
their
die
double
for.
jack is incredible. I've had it.
I have
Okay,
not.
so um, you know, uh, uh, Nick and Ruby, who are on the show, are from Bloomington, and that's the closest Benny's to me. So they got me a bottle of that Hop Slam last year or
Nice.
earlier this year. So they saved one back for me, and I mean, there's just so much really good beer out there,
Right.
just to be had, and just like, wow. But anyway, hey, I picked up this apple cider. It's a cider.
Okay.
It's from Woodchuck, and we distribute. Fritz distributing distributes Woodchuck,
Okay.
and it's their fall harvest cider. And I was like, this actually looks appetizing, and I know the wife would probably like it. And it's the fall harvest, and it says just like apple pie.
Okay.
I'll let my wife take the first couple sips. I opened one up yesterday. Let her have the first couple sips and stuff, and she almost drank the whole thing. Okay, because it tastes just like apple pie.
Nice. Keep a
And
lookout. I think it is released either at the end of the month or I want to say the first couple of weeks of October. Woodchuck does a reserve, and it's a pumpkin cider.
okay,
I heard it's excellent.
yeah, and we'll probably get a whole bunch of that, because we distribute Woodchuck, Hornsby, Magners, Angry Orchard.
I love it.
That's a very popular one.
The one that's just it's actually just got released over here the last couple of weeks is oh, what is that? Sinful Cider.
The Sinful Cider, yep,
Yep.
we distribute that too.
It
So,
reminds me of an apple dumpling.
yep. So, you know, um, it I'm out and I'm merchandising, and like I said earlier, I'm not just a merchandiser. I'm a salesperson.
Right.
Okay, because people come up to me and say, well, I had this or that, the other, and even if I'm not exactly um, suggesting something that we carry, like the other day, a lady comes up to me and she's like, my husband loves oatmeal stouts.
Mm, nice.
Yeah, one of my favorite styles, let me tell you. Um, and I told her, well, I know that this store doesn't carry any oatmeal stouts. I'm sitting at a Walmart. Walmart doesn't carry hardly anything.
Right.
Okay, it carries the basic.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm like,
Bare
well,
bones.
Walmart doesn't. Yeah, the bare bones, right? And I was like, ma'am, Walmart doesn't carry oatmeal stouts, but I would suggest a couple for you. And she's all like, okay. So she whips out a piece of paper and a pen. Okay, and she's like, well, so what do you suggest? And I go, well, if you can find it, and I know where you can find it, all right, the Poet,
Mm-hmm.
okay, by New Holland Brewery is a great oatmeal stout, but the one that reminds me of actually eating oatmeal, okay, with the raisins and the brown sugar and the milk and the butter, okay, is the Samuel Smith's oatmeal stout.
Yep, that's a good one.
And she's like, oh, that's how my mom used to cook oatmeal as when I was a kid. And I go, if you get that, believe me, you'll remember how your mom cooked your oatmeal as a kid when you drink it or when your husband drinks it or whatever. And she goes, oh, where can I get this? And I just rattled off a couple stores, where she can get it. And she's all like, well, thank you very much. And, that makes me feel good that
Right.
I can actually sell beer.
Right. That's what you're there to do.
That's what I'm there to do. Even though we don't carry it, I'm selling it.
Right, because of the fact that you know exactly where it's at. I mean, you not only maybe you don't distribute it, but you know where you can get a hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
I do that with
And
people that are looking for Founders oatmeal stout, and I can tell them exactly where to go right now just to get it because it's. I said it might be a little pricey for your price range, but at the same time, I said it's one of the best ones that I can get a hold of right now.
and the funny thing about it is that I could rattle off, okay, who's got what at what price.
Right.
Even if we don't carry it. Like the other day, someone asked me, what's a good IPA? And I started rattling all these ones, and they're like, well, that Two Hearted Ale sounds interesting. I go, we don't carry it, but I know Schnucks carries it for $8.69 a 6-pack.
Nice.
And she's like, Schnucks? I was like, yeah, go to Schnucks. They'll have it. And I remember getting that at $10.99 a 6-pack once. And the price has gone down on that.
Nice.
And it's like I just can rattle off who's got what at what price.
Do you guys get it out there in the 16-ounce cans yet?
No, we don't get it in the 16-ounce cans yet.
I've seen a couple of places out here that carry those already.
So I think it's pretty interesting. I almost thought about setting up a website to where, for craft beer people in Springfield, this is where you can get, your craft beer or whatever at this particular price or whatever. I just don't have the time, to
Right.
just divulge into something like
Right.
a project like that.
It's be like a craft beer finder.
Right.
For like a 20-mile radius or a 40-mile radius, depending on where your distribution covers and wherever you shop.
Well, Fritz Distributing is the largest distributor south of I-80.
Okay. Nice.
Well, south of Chicago.
Yeah.
So, we carry a really good amount of beer. So,
So what's your thoughts on the whole subject of changing the time slots up and doing what Jim Bab suggested?
well, I'm thinking, maybe doing a show twice a month, and maybe making it within an hour, hour and a half, um, because we all have restraints, time
Right.
restraints, and stuff like that. Especially me, who's got to be up at 5:30 in the morning the next morning, and especially drinking the night
Yeah.
before. But yeah, uh, and also it'll give me more time to set things up.
That sounds good.
All right, well, I'm gonna have to let you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off here and get ready to hit the bed too myself.
All right, you
All
take
right,
care
man.
now.
You too.